Hi, everybody. Anthony Burrows here with Life and Finances, along with some sacrifice and service. Now, I'm going to talk probably more on life today. But if you hear a noise outside, it'll be the rain that's coming down on a nice Sunday morning, November 8th, 2000, well, 2020, 2020. But man, when I look at that out there, you see the green grass, you got some fruits, vegetables growing. I say, Lord have mercy, aren't we a blessed people? It's fortunate to be born Bahamian and living in the Bahamas. In spite of our 10,000 problems, still a blessed people live to be living in this Bahamas now. This week, well, I should say just yesterday, we saw the big grand news that Joe Biden is now the United States President elect. And Bahamians all over the Bahamas celebrating. Well, of course, you see Americans celebrating like crazy too. And I'm saying, why is it that Bahamians are so jubilant about this? And when you think about it, this election in the United States was a referendum on Donald Trump. And the people that really put Joe Biden over were black folks in America. They put him over the hump. And I said to myself, now that he is in, and over his next 4 years, should the Lord allow him to get through the 4 years and Jesus don't come, he said, will there be less blacks shot down in the streets because he is president? And I asked myself, with blacks in America, I mean, they are the most faithful citizens in America. They are the most faithful citizens in America, bar none. And you said, hey, will schools in black communities all of a sudden become better schools, have better funding, better teachers, better training, better equipment? You know what I'm saying? So when you're going to celebrate, you have to ask yourself some questions. Why am I celebrating? Then I ask, will there be greater economic empowerment in the black communities? Will more black people be able to get loans for housing? Doesn't matter the area in which they want to live. Will there be more loans for black businesses? Will more black people in America put their money into black institutions instead of the other institutions so that their wealth will generate and grow as a community? And I ask, say, will blacks in America start spending and investing more in their own community, going to stores in their community, buying from persons in their community? Then I look at us Bahamians as we are celebrating. I'm asking now that Biden is in, that big colossal embassy that they're building look like it's going to be really new. I guess that from what I can see, the construction on that is look to be 100-year construction, the materials and things, the way everything is built there, building that with intention that it'll last 100 years before they need to build another one. And I'm asking, will they now say, hey, we are going to pay up all of the customs duties and VAT that's outstanding now that Joe Biden is in? Then you say, hey, will Biden say to the IMF and the EU and the World Bank, leave the Bahamas alone. I am President of the United States. How is this going to benefit us? Why are we celebrating? And I guess the big issue was that Trump was such a, I don't know how to describe it. He was bombastic, everything, but for some reason, like I'm saying, that election was a referendum on him. And talking about Bahamians celebrating, I saw something that happened this week where Michelle Malcolm was promptly fired from her radio station where she had her show. And I listened to her probably twice and maybe 3 times, and because normally at that kind of time you're at work. And her show, it seemed like, it was just a normal show until I caught 1 or 2 shows which seemed like it was outstanding. Next thing you know, boom, she's fired from it, I guess, for bringing on a guy, one of those people who are now talking about the natural resources that we have and the $14 trillion worth of resources that we have. But I say to anybody, $14 trillion out there, get your pickaxe, your hammer, and your shovel, and go and get it, dig it up, and then add value to it, and then go sell it. Nothing just gonna fall in our laps. But with her being fired, so lo and behold, they brought this guy on. Obviously has a Jamaican accent. I was going somewhere for a meeting, and I turned the radio on, and lo and behold, I was like, oh, this guy is with this Jamaican accent. And so a Bahamian lady called in and chewed him out, right? And she was saying, hey, go back to Jamaica and stuff like that. Right after that, you had all the other Bahamians calling in. I call them the bootlickers and the butt kissers. They started to call in and to chastise the lady who called and chewed him out. But in a way, I said, I understand why that lady called him. She called in and told him to go back to Jamaica, but in reality, her venom wasn't for him. What happened is the perception is that the elitist group in our country had her removed, and as a result, persons now see him as an overseer on the plantation with the whip who's not going to do anything to upset the elite class and the established status quo system. And so therefore her venom really was for the elite class and for the status quo system. So that's how come people may take it that, hey, she was xenophobic, but I understand her reasoning. And because there's nobody else she could lash out at, so she lashed out at him. This is why it is so important that we as Bahamians take control of our destiny. And here's what I mean. One of our greatest challenges, we have two great challenges, and I always say this, and the two great challenges, the first one is the self-hate among us, and then the second item is the financial illiteracy. And I had a conversation with one of my children this week, and her thing was, Daddy, you live in a la-la land, man. People can't save money because we are not making a livable wage. And I said to her, man, some way, somehow, you got to find a way to save money. And if you're in a situation where you're not earning a livable wage and you can't save and can't meet your commitments, then the idea is to, hey, find yourself a second job. And a lot of people in this time right now, pandemic time, are actually finding second jobs for those who really have it hard, and then for some persons again, they're still looking around and finding jobs. Of course, most of them are going to be the lower class, but you still have persons, middle class, upper class, who are switching and transferring from different jobs, finding other jobs, moving about. And when she said that, about living in this la-la land, and that's when it hit me, we have to teach our children. We have to teach our children, because the only way we can take charge of our own economy is by teaching the children and preparing the children for the next generation. Some of the things we have to teach them, we got to teach the children, hey, that money is finite and it doesn't last forever. Then we have to teach them to say, hey, have delayed gratification. Don't grab everything right here, right now. That was my mother's big thing, delayed gratification. And then the next thing you have to push on them is to, hey, have a life plan, a 1 year, a 3 year, and a 5 year plan with all your goals. Then we have to teach them the art of saving. Got to teach them that, so that when they get out there, they are free from this system and they can create and cut their own path. Or the main item, one of the things we have to teach them is credit. We got to show them how credit can be wonderful if it's going to improve your life and make you a more productive individual. Not credit just to consume. And then get them to stay away from credit cards, use more cash if anything. And then as they prosper and grow and get a better understanding of credit, then they can look at things like that. We have to put them in a situation, expose them to real world situations. And then we got to push in our children this notion, the spirit of excellence and the spirit of entrepreneurship. Oh Lord, we have to beat back this, hey, the spirit of entitlement. Because if you push the spirit of entrepreneurship and the spirit of excellence, you get massive productivity among your children. And I like to say, if it starts with the individual, if one individual have a spirit of entrepreneurship and a spirit of excellence, then it goes on from the individual to their family, and that grows in the family. Then from the family, it goes into the community, and then from the community, it goes around the island, then ultimately the whole nation. It only got to start with one person. Get that what it says. It only takes a spark. And as parents, we must be willing to talk to the children about money. Don't let's just say, hey, I ain't got no money. Money don't go on tree. I can't this, I broke, I this, I that. No, no, no. Talk to them about the possibilities. Hey, I don't have it today, but I'm going to figure out how we're going to get it. We're going to figure out how we're going to get around and make and stretch our dollar. You see what I'm saying? Then you have to set good examples for these children as we're teaching them about finances and becoming financially literate. And the best way to do that is to demonstrate through the books that you're reading. When you pull out the newspaper, don't run to the sports and the comic and the gossip on the front page. First thing to go do is say, pull out the business section. And you read through the business section and kind of educate them on that. Then the television programs you watch. Watch the educational programs that will then guide you along that path with the finances. My father, when we were growing up, he had this propensity towards nature type, not movies, nature type documentaries and different programs that used to be on. I remember Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom, and it'll be set in different countries and they'd maybe tracking a lion, tiger, whatever. And as a result, I think all of us as children grew up kind of taking to that. Imagine same thing it'll be if you're watching financial programs. And then the thing is, talk to them about that rainy day fun. My father used to say, hey, don't hang that basket higher than you can reach, which I didn't understand as a child. But then as I got older, So in your case, you wouldn't say to your children, don't hang that basket higher than you can reach. You'll say to them something like, hey, do not spend more than you have. Live within your means, and then you'll break that down to them. And of course, you want to have those kids learn a solid work ethic. And the best way to teach children work ethic is to start them out by doing chores in the house, carrying out the garbage, washing the dishes, mopping the floor, cleaning the windows, painting the house, depending on their age and all of that. So, and then also, while you're teaching them about finances, you want to grow the spirit of generosity in them. And the spirit of generosity is that, hey, I am going to look out for those who are last and least, help the less fortunate, and a willing spirit so that they will not become Scrooges. Well, Christmas coming up, so when you watch a Christmas Carol, you see what Scrooges are about. And so we know, yeah, life is rough, life is tough, and life often is unfair. But instead of the issues in life and in spite of the situations in life, let's teach the children so that we can claim this economy of ours and take ownership. Let us become the hotel owners. Let us become the owners of the airlines. Let us become the owners of everything that's in sight, all of the food entities, and cut down on all the importation. We take ownership of our economy now. So until next time, may the God of heaven and his Son, the Christ, bless and prosper you.